Hello everyone, welcome to my weather news channel. Stay up to date with the weather news every day. An earthquake of magnitude 5.3 occurred level kilometers from the village of seismic, the National Seismic Monitoring Center's reports. The tremors were recorded at 23:35 local time. The earthquake was located at a depth of 9 kilometers. There were no reports of casualties or damage. The most powerful earthquake since 2012 occurred in Georgia on February 13. The magnitude was 6.2. The epicenter was in the south of the country, 100 kilometers from Tbilisi. The tremors caused damage to buildings in the Tbilisi and Marinoly districts. Georgia is a country of average seismic activity. The most powerful earthquake recorded in Georgia, magnitude 7, occurred in 1991 in the regions of Reichi and Emirati in the west of the country. The intensity at the epicenter was 9 points. When earthquake hits are discovered, Georgia is not the first state to be mentioned. Earthquakes in Georgia are rare compared to the long history of damaging earthquakes which are associated with California's active San Andreas fault zone. Movements along active faults like the San Andreas explained 85% of the earthquakes in the world. The rest are scattered over areas like Georgia that lack clearly defined active faults. These scattered earthquakes in Georgia, the eastern United States, have caused significant damage and can be an important consideration for homeowners. Because earthquakes are less frequent in the eastern United States than in California, we are not constantly reminded of our seismic hazard by frequent small earthquakes. Nevertheless, a historical record of earthquakes in the southeastern United States and Georgia makes it clear that earthquakes and air associated seismic hazard exist. Damages from eastern United States earthquakes are largely forgotten because the last great earthquake was over 100 years ago. Also, some seismologists argue that while earthquakes in the eastern United States are less frequent, the large earthquakes cause damage over much larger areas and would affect more people than earthquakes of similar size in the western United States. In Georgia, calculations of seismic hazard indicate that large earthquakes outside our borders are the likely to cause damage in Georgia. The earthquakes of any size occurring within Georgia. Why are Georgia's residents at risk? While earthquakes can be felt anywhere in this state, residents in the eastern Tennessee seismic zone in northwestern Georgia have experienced the most earthquakes in recent years. This zone is the most active earthquake zone in the southwestern United States. It extended from northwestern Alabama to southwestern Virginia. Additionally, the New Madrid fault line is the 150 miles long, extending southwest from New Madrid, Missouri, through 5 states. It was responsible for 4 major 8.0 magnitude earthquakes in 1811 and 1812. Though this fault line does not extend into Georgia, aftershocks from quakes and this fault line could potentially damage homes here. While chances are good that any earthquakes in Georgia will be melted honest, the potential for expensive destruction should not be discounted. Having a Georgia earthquake insurance rider included with your homeowner's insurance policy may be a wise investment. Why do earthquakes happen? An earthquake is the vibrations of the earth when the surface begins to move, the result of a sudden release of energy. This sudden release, also known as the seismic wave, is caused by movement or a sudden break in rocks underground. Most earthquakes occur where the tectonic plates meet or where there are fault lines, but they can also be caused by volcanoes, landslides, and explosions. They occur specifically when there is a sudden movement of rock under the Earth's lithosphere. An example from volcanoes is when pressure is built up under the surface. It needs to be released, and this sudden explosion can cause seismic waves which results in earthquake. The rocks that make up the crust of the earth are full of fractures, and some of these fractures, known as faults, rocks slip past each other as the crust rearranges itself in the places known as plate tectonics. But this slipping doesn't happen usually. Rocks are stiff, rough, and under a lot of pressure from rocks around and above them. Because of this, rocks can pull at or push on each other on either side of a fault for long periods of time without moving much at all, which builds up a lot of stress in a rocks. When rocks do finally slip past each other, they move suddenly, releasing the built-up stress all at once and sending shock waves through the surrounding rocks. The shaking that results is what we call an earthquake. It happens that tremors are accompanied by a well-distinguishable low rumble. At the same time, the frequency of seismic vibrations lies in the range perceived by the human ear, and sometimes such sounds are heard even in the absence of shocks. In some areas, they are fairly common phenomenon. Also, tangible earthquakes occur very rarely. The material damage of one devastating earthquake can amount to hundreds of millions of dollars. The number of weak earthquakes is much greater than strong ones. The territorial distribution of earthquakes is uneven. It is determined by the movement and interaction of lithospheric plates. The main seismic belt, in which up to 18% of all seismic energy is released, is located in the Pacific Ocean in the earth of deep water troughs. There is a movement of lithospheric plates. The same energy is released in the Eurasian folded belt at the collision sites of the Eurasian plate with the Indian and African plates and in the areas of the mid-oceanic ridges in the conditions of stretching of the lithosphere. An earthquake is a disaster that cannot yet be accurately predicted, so you need to be prepared to behave adequately in emergency situations, need to panic and be able to provide the necessary assistance to outsiders.